Alrighty, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the next episode of the Minecraft PS Vita Let's Play. It's actually been a while since I've recorded. Kind of took some time prepping and, holidays, I've been kind of doing stuff. But this episode, I actually wanted to get this episode actually a little bit out sooner. Simply because I really wanted to finish the tree. But this is almost kind of like a New Year's episode. Not really, but it's kind of finishing the tree, finishing the holiday spirit a little bit. But we're going to do the ornaments on the tree in this episode, and we're going to build the pathway up to the tree. Off camera, I know I said I was going to start the episode off in the ocean monument while getting sea lanterns and stuff. I did grind that out a little bit, but I actually found another sponge room. Yeah, I know, another sponge room. And actually just another more rooms with sea lanterns, so I actually didn't really have to grind much at all. And then I went down to the mines to mine a bunch of gravel, because we're going to need a bunch of gravel for the pathway up to the tree. And I'll show you guys how much sea lanterns we got. I got 30, which honestly is plenty enough to finish off the tree. Is it getting nighttime? I don't think so. Okay. And I've kind of just been sharing the sheep here. So basically we're going to use holiday colors. So we're going to use red wool and we're going to use the lime wool. That is the colors that we're going to use for the ornaments. And I think we are just going to put a lever on top, I think that honestly is probably going to fit best to make it look like a hanger. I don't think there's any other way to make it like truly hang, but whatever. With that being said, I'll have to show you guys. We're gonna have to mine some of this out and place some gravel here because I need some inventory space. There we go. Okay, there we go. So I'll show you guys. So basically the pathway is going to go up through here. And it's going to go up to the side, up through here. I actually did some clearing out and some terraforming a little bit. It's going to come right through here. As you can see, I mined down some trees here. And then it's going to come right up through here. And then out through right here. And then I actually need to fill this in for now. We actually may mine a little bit of this out, but that's okay. And I actually need to break this down. And this is where I was kind of torn. A little bit here. And that's because I don't know if I want the pathway. I think I want it to go along this side of the mountain. Just because we're probably going to actually build something in this bay at some point. And we can have this go up. And then we can have it curve around right there. And then head to the top. I think this side is going to be a little harder to get it to the top. And you can just go like straight diagonal up to like right there, and you'd probably be fine. Because we could do that, or we save this for like a different build here, right? Probably decide that once we actually get the pathway up to that point. For now, I kind of just have like a ladder right here to get to the top. So we just go like this. And then we kind of just go up the ladder system here. I'm going to deposit some of this, or deposit the ornaments that we're going to put up here in the sea lanterns. Now, we definitely have plenty enough wood to complete the pathway. Like, yeah. But the wood is definitely going to change form. And what I mean by that is, as it gets to the mountain, the type of wood that we're going to use is going to change. So we'll kind of just clear the inventory here. It's going to change to spruce wood, kind of as we get to like here. Obviously we still need to like light the pathway up and stuff like that, but with that being said, how's your guys' Christmas? How was the holidays? If you don't celebrate Christmas, how was the vibe? And I said respect to all the people. You know what was crazy? On Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, okay? Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, McDonald's was open. That's just insane, bro. Like, does this look better, or does this look better? That's literally not what I want to do. Or does this look better? I mean, I kind of like that a little bit. We'll go with that. But yeah, McDonald's was open. I mean, yeah, some people don't celebrate Christmas, you know, and stuff like that, but still, just the holiday season, and shame to anyone even going to McDonald's on Christmas. Like, what are we doing? But, I mean, it's really those type of service jobs that keep the world functioning. I mean, there's, like, it's crazy, because you work Christmas Eve, and the hours were unchanged, by the way. I actually went to check on the hours, like the operation hours of the McDonald's, and it was the exact same. So no time off, nothing. There's no holiday hours. There's literally nothing. You are literally working on Christmas Eve, working on Christmas. You don't get time with your family, even if you do celebrate. I mean, it's kind of depressing if you actually think about it, but no, it's actually really depressing. And same with all the, like, the other service jobs, you know, like the grocery stores and stuff like that. It's kind of disgusting. You know, there's gonna be people that are gonna defend it too. You know, there's always the bootlickers. But okay, should I go one more here? Or should I go like this? And then we go up like this. And we're kind of going to have to do a little makeshift connection here as we go up like this. And I need to go sleep. Yeah, it's honestly respect to all the service workers who keep, you know, society running and stuff like that. You know, at Amazon, like, you know, we work Christmas Eve too. So, like, back when I was working full time, I'd work Christmas Eve, and my family celebrates Christmas Eve. So, I literally wouldn't be able to even celebrate Christmas because we celebrate on Christmas Eve. So, like, I wouldn't even get time off. And then at Amazon, through peak season, which you call peak season, and I actually think this is my girlfriend used to work at Petco. I actually think it was the same there as well. Okay, this actually needs to go in one. Like that. When she used to work at Petco, so it's the same at Amazon, that around peak season, so like November, right? So around this time, I want to make this go up like this. So around this time, right, there is okay, let's say, okay, well, I'm just gonna, you know, call out, or I'm gonna, you know, and not to mention the fact, you know, just calling out is already, you know, risking your job, especially during peak season, when these companies are just absolutely just seething for you to slave your life away. But there's basically a PTO freeze. It's the same thing at Amazon right now. Like, even if I wanted, you know, to call out and take time, you know, they pray, you know, with most people, you know, living paycheck to paycheck, you can't afford to just call out and PTO freeze. Like, they literally PTO freeze. You're not allowed to take any time off. It's just not allowed. Like, if you request PTO, they're going to deny it. It's kind of sad. But that's the way the system is right now. You know? So, like, even if I wanted to call out, or I needed money, or people got bills to pay, stuff like that, well, you're not requesting the time off. It's going to get denied if you try and request time off. So then if you call out and try and use PTO, well, you can't do that either. So, all around, it's just kind of disgusting. Kind of gross. So, you know, I'm privileged enough, you know, right now that I don't, you know, have to work necessarily full time right now. Now that I'm back in school, I saved up a good decent amount of money. But, you know, I can still live with my mom and my uncle and stuff like that. So, you know, some other people, they aren't really, you know, in that position. They don't have a, you know, relatively well-off family that they can piggyback off of. And I think a lot of people are in that position. So, I'm going to need a lot more stairs than that, actually. Except my inventory is full. Okay. 24. There we go. Okay. And actually, yesterday at work, speaking of work, Saturday, I got a message. So, obviously, peak is over, like, after holidays at Amazon. And the crazy thing at Amazon is you're not even guaranteed full employment. You're not even, like, even though they hire you full-time, they'll send you home because Amazon, they shorten routes, they, there's a lot of different things that they do. Maybe there's not enough routes that day, or, so you're not even really guaranteed full-time employment. But basically, Amazon cut the routes. We want this to be actually here. Here we go. So, down to like 15 routes, which is, to put in perspective, we normally have like 30 routes. So, it's like 50% reduction in work. So, I got a text from Chris, like our dispatcher. He was like, yeah, we have the routes cut. So, you know, stay home on Sunday. And I was like, shoot, bro. I mean, even though I work full time, you know, that's how I pay for my food. I still at least pay for my food and stuff while I'm living at home here. So, yeah. So I was like, shoot, bro. Because I still need to pay for my food, right? So that was that, and I was like, okay. You know, whatever, 1 weekend's fine. You know, my girlfriend works full-time. She can help me pay for food and stuff like that. And obviously, you know, I gotta, you know, save a little bit of money, too. So I'm able to save, like, a little bit. So I was like, okay. Me and my girlfriend are just gonna have a day together. No problem. Of course, they decided to send me home. Even though I'm one of the senior drivers. Even though I only work 1 day a week now. You know, since I've been at Amazon for 3 years, I pretty much know most of the routes, and I know how to drive, and I don't get the van stuck. I don't damage the vans. I'd consider, like I said, I consider myself pretty much a pro driver at this point. No matter, even if I'm delivering in the mountains, I know how to whip that van around. So I'm like, oh, okay, these animals are starting to annoy me, bro. So it's like, you know, I know what I'm doing, so of course they send me home, because the bosses don't care. When I was working full-time, I would always stand up to the bosses, bro. I'd never just suck up to the bosses. And I think that's why the bosses specifically chose me to stay home, so... Because the bosses, like, you know, they get to choose who you know, they're going to send home, so... I'm like, well, figures they would send me home, you know? So... But anyways, I get up Sunday morning, you know, originally they were like, stay home, stupid, and I get a call. Well, missed calls when I woke up, since my alarm is set for 8. And they were telling me, oh, Chris, our dispatcher, Chris is like one of the most real ones at work, you know, bald Asian guy. He actually brings in snacks for us that the bosses don't do, right? So every Sunday, he brings in like a bunch of snacks from like Costco in for us, and should I do it like this? Yeah, we'll do it like that. Out of his own money. You know, because the bosses, they're never going to pay for snacks for us, you know, because they're, you know, cheapskates and, you know, all that type of stuff. I mean, even, like, driver rewards, you know, for top drivers. We used to get rewards for being, like, top driver of the week each week. And Chris told me that he was buying the prizes. Like, I actually got top driver multiple times. You know, I got an air fryer, I got some new earbuds and stuff like that. But Chris said, like, he was paying for it. Because the boss Eugene, he was like, oh, he'd always say he doesn't have his card on him. The company card on him. So then he would make Chris pay for it. And then the boss would just never reimburse Chris back for the driver reward, so he was making our dispatcher pay for the gifts. Just disgusting, honestly. Just absolutely disgusting. But yeah. And that's kind of why. And then eventually Chris said, well, I'm not, you know. How do I want to do this? This is weird. So we go up here. Like this. Let's clear this. Because I've really done it. I think we have to make this in one, at least one more here. Like this. Is that a little too much here? Maybe a little too much. Maybe like here. Something like that. Like this. Never actually making like curved staircase type of dealias here is always a little challenging. But I actually think that looks okay. But yeah, so Chris, the boss, Eugene, wouldn't reimburse Chris. So then Chris gave up on, you know, the top driver awards. It just shows, like, you know, the level of pettiness and scumminess of Eugene and the bosses. You know, what I had up against every time I would speak out and stuff like that. So, you know, what would I had to, you know, deal with. But, yeah, so Chris basically stopped getting, this looks like odd, bro. I think we'll do it like that. Or should it just be like this? I think we'll just do it like that. So, yeah. So basically, Chris stopped buying gifts, right? And yesterday, because Chris is the real one. Chris is the one who, you know, picked up ad hoc. So I had an ad hoc yesterday. Which is basically, it's called a recycled route, but it's basically like a last minute route from packages at station that never got to get loaded. Maybe they're like last minute orders within like a certain window, maybe certain one day shipping items, stuff like that. So the routes are usually, the ad hoc routes are usually smaller, like way smaller than a normal route, but they're way spread apart. Like you could be delivering in like multiple different zip codes and maybe even multiple different cities. Like you may drive like, you know, 10 minutes between each stop, and maybe the route's like 50 stops. But mine actually yesterday was like a really weird ad hoc. It was actually quite concentrated. It was like 92 stops, but it was actually all kind of in the same general area. Like I didn't really go to a different necessarily like area or zip code, so it was definitely an interesting ad hoc. Because the worst Okay. Okay. What the heck, bro? What the heck, bro? Dude, if that blew up there... Did he spawn in here? Maybe he did. Oh my gosh, dude, that actually scared me, bro. That actually scared the living hell out of me. Holy, bro. Maybe he walked in here. I don't think it's necessarily dark enough for something to spawn in here, but... So he actually picked up a route for some people, some ad hoc routes, which are basically last minute routes. They really don't take as long as other routes. They usually come in like the afternoon. They usually take like maybe, you know, it'll be like 5-6 hour route instead of like your normal like 8 to 10 hour route. But some ad hocs can take a long time depending on if you like different cities. Like my record was, it was in the mountains and it was in 6 different cities and it was only like 20 stops. So it was kind of ridiculous, honestly. But yeah, so I basically accepted the ad hoc. My girlfriend was like, "Oh, I thought I was gonna spend a day with you." I was a little disappointed, but also I need the money. Even if it was like a 4-hour route, I mean, you know, that's like $80-$90. So I mean, that's enough like to ration to get through food through the week. Because I only spend like $50 to $100 of food for myself per week, so I pretty much like eat same thing every day. So, but yeah, so I basically accepted the ad hoc. It was Chris that did that, and Chris does that for people. Like, that's who Chris is. He brings in snacks for us. He, you know, defends us against the bosses. And actually just yesterday, because the reason why I'm talking about him is, like I said, he literally spends like $50 a week on us for snacks. Is that he works 4 jobs. 4 jobs, because he has 3 kids. He's worked 4 jobs. Because I was asking him, because there was like a Kia SUV when I came to work at like 1:30, since we start like halfway through the day for the ad hocs. And I was like, what the heck is this vehicle? Because he was sitting in like a Kia SUV that that had the Lyft logo on it, right? And I was like, what the heck? I was like, I've never seen us have this vehicle. Like, what is this vehicle? Right? And it turns out it's Chris's own vehicle. And he says that he, Lyft pays an extra like 100 every like 2 weeks if you just like advertise and have like their logo on your car. So he basically has like, you know, that decal, the Lyft decal. So he's basically just like a, you know, rolling advertisement basically, right? So we go here like this, and this is where it's going to start to get weird because I've never really built a pathway like this, so a little nervous for this, but it's basically going to go to here. And then we're kind of just going to start going up along the side of the mountain. And I think we then add support beams like later, right? I think that's probably the best option. But yeah, so he was like, yeah, I work 4 jobs, man. And I know he, like, there was no way he, you know, helped provide for his family, you know, with one just working at Amazon, especially as a dispatcher. Because the salary, you're on like, you get, it's like $30K a year, $35K a year for a dispatcher at Amazon. So I was like, yeah, there's no way, especially in the Bay Area, when a single 1-bedroom apartment average is like $2,500 a month. So yeah, I figured like he had something, but I didn't know he worked 4 jobs. That he does Lyft on the side. He I didn't want to use all that. Does Lyft on the side. He does seminars for like the military, and he does like, he's a caregiver too for like elderly people. I'm like, someone that real as Chris. You know, just an absolute G. Like, just an absolute, just, you know, just servant of the people. You know, that's what I would call him. Just such a legendary guy. You know, has to endure that, but that's the reality for a lot of people. And I was like, dude, damn. And then Rob, who I actually haven't seen in a while since I'm working part-time, but I guess he came in for one of the ad hocs yesterday. Yeah, he works at Amazon, but then he also works at an orchard too. So yeah, that was just kind of crazy to me, honestly, but yeah. I just thought it was crazy, you know, most people, I know a lot of people at my work 2 jobs, like Cassandra, she's a waitress, and she works at Amazon. She finishes her shift and then goes serves as a waitress, like, and I think she's also just a waitress on the weekends too, on the days she doesn't work. But yeah, I know a lot of people, they work multiple jobs, you know, just to get by. And honestly, like, no one should have to do that. Dude, I keep placing it in the wrong place. I think we make something here. Like, we could, like, go into the mountain here, which is why I'm making this like this. I'm gonna have this go over one more like that. And then we'll go like this. And we'll go like that. Because I'm thinking, like, we can add the support beams later for this thing. And I was thinking here, you know, we could have, we could actually just go into the mountain here. So, obviously, we're going to have to do the support beams on this thing, but the support beams are going to have to be underneath the slabs, which have, that can actually have a connection. So that's going to get a little awkward, but it's fine. It's okay, bro. I'm actually going to break that real quick. Like I said, we'll do that. I think we'll do something like that. Maybe that looks a little too weird. But this looks a little weird. I feel like you gotta have that here, but then that, I feel like, makes this look a little weird. And it makes it, you have to look like that, but then even that looks kind of weird. I don't know, let's just, like, get this pathway built up here, and then we'll go from there. So we'll go like this. Like that. There we go. There we go, like that. Like I said, I want this to stay sort of 3 wide here. I think 2 wide's a little too sketchy. A little too sketchy. So we'll go up like this. Boom, boom. Alright, I'm gonna real quick get this sort of wrapped around here, because honestly this is melting my brain a little bit, and it's kind of hard to talk about things when I'm trying to do this. So I'm gonna wrap this around and see how this goes. So this is the pathway finished. I wanted to make a little diving board right here into this. Let me not fall off. Right here into that. But this is pretty much the pathway. We are going to have to add some support beams and stuff like that. I don't know how I want to add like a ledge here so you don't fall off. Honestly, I haven't really built a pathway like this before. So it's kind of a first. So I'm kind of going to be, you know, figuring it out as I go. Is there a reason I need to head back to the house? Yes, it is. I needed stone. Because basically, we got to the top there, and we basically need to build a bridge. As you can see it from here. Because get a little closer here. The render in. Right there. So we need to build a bridge from here across to there. And I need it to be level. I don't want the bridges to be, or the beginning support beams to be not level. So I need to actually get some stone so it doesn't look weird. So I can actually place the stone on the top. I should actually have a decent amount of stone still. At least I think I should. But anyways, moral of the story, what I was talking about, Chris is an absolute legend. And these companies, they don't care about you. You get hurt, you get whatever, they're just going to replace you. That's just how it is. Thankfully, my girlfriend sort of escaped that. She doesn't work for corporations. She works for a nonprofit, working with animals, so as a vet tech. So, yeah, I mean, she gets, like, a bunch of time off. Starting pay is $30 an hour. So, yeah. It's, yeah, I really made it my next job. I made a pledge to myself that I'm never going to be working for a private company ever again. So, I mean, just like back then, I mean, during my original Minecraft series on Switch, I talked about how I worked at Lowe's and stuff like that. And just the disconnect, I mean, how the night managers, I worked freight, unloading the trucks at Lowe's. And before that, I unloaded trucks and stocked at Home Depot. Home Depot was probably the least offensive out of all the jobs that I've had. Granted, I wasn't there that long because of just family stuff, and I had to move. I was only there for a couple months. But yeah, definitely how Lowe's and stuff, and how the night managers would make decisions that no one of the night crew, like of us freight team, the decisions they would make would just make our job harder, and then they get mad at us for not being as efficient. It's just like the way they wanted stuff organized, and it was just counterproductive. But obviously, it was to serve profits. So it's all just a you know, it's all just a game, bro. It's all just a game. So I made a pledge. I was like, I'm never Y118. Okay. Working for a private company again. I kind of have my own plan right now. 119. Okay, that needs to be one higher. That's fine. That is fine. So yeah, never working for a private company again. That's the pledge that I made. And I'm gonna be sticking to that pledge for myself. So we gotta make this at least a little bit realistic here. Actually, this one probably wouldn't be here. That would probably be here. That one probably wouldn't. Something like this. And then this just continues to go up like that. And then we raise these up like that. Boom, boom. And then we get the slabs placed in there. Oh shoot, this is actually bad. This needs to actually be in one here. You guys have to let me guys know if you guys are working or if you guys are in school. What jobs do you have, or what are you guys' plans for the future and stuff like that? As I've said in the past, I think it's ridiculous that, we're, expected to have our entire lives figured out as soon as you graduate high school. I think it's quite disgusting. Honestly, I find it really, really disgusting. So, there we go. That looks a little better. I just find it really, really disgusting. Like, you're not given any time to experiment, you know, with yourself or figure out, you know, you as a person. You know, you're meant to just know what you want to do in the corporate slave world, and that's it. It's a little bit sad. You know, there's no personal development, and I went through definitely a lot of big personal development working at Home Depot and Amazon and stuff like that. It really opened my eyes to the world, and you know how a lot of people are in, you know, very crappy situations, and how relatively privileged that I was in at that point, or even not just at that point, but in general in my life. So okay, how do we want to do this? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I think that is pretty good. We kind of just need this to get covered in snow. I also think it's funny how sand went all the way up here. That is just friggin' hilarious. Okay. I guess now, basically, we work on the bridge, right? Get the bridge going. The bridge going. I gotta clear inventory though again. And that's pretty much all the gravel that we're gonna need. So definitely went overkill on the gravel, but that's okay. That is okay. So, designing this bridge, I want it to be, I don't know if I want it to be flat, or like an arc bridge. I do really like arc bridges. I just think they're a little bit challenging to build. A little bit challenging to build. A straight bridge is relatively simple. A little bit easier to build those support beams, those arches. So I am debating on just a straight bridge with some support beams here. I think I kind of like that a little better. I think I am gonna go with that. Just a straight bridge. Yeah, we're gonna go with the straight bridge. I was gonna build an arc bridge, but I actually kind of like the idea of a straight bridge here. Although maybe an arc bridge would look better from when we're down there. I kind of want to build a... I don't even know, because this is not even connect to the ocean. So unless we would terraform that and make a port, I was thinking of building like a ship in there, but I'm like, why would a ship be in this tiny... Why would a ship be in that tiny, tiny little pond thing? But that's technically an ocean biome because there's kelp in there, which is a bit interesting. But you know, you guys have to let me know. Especially with the diving board, we definitely got to make something down there for sure. I just don't necessarily have a vivid, clear image of exactly what that should be. Yet, so because I'm thinking what we do is we connect them to the support beams with upside down stairs, and we actually just kind of extend it out like this and put fences, and then we connect that. Is this at the top of the block? Let's actually check here. We should be able to, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's good. That's all we needed to know. So we start from, like, the middle. It's going to be really annoying to place all the upside down stairs, but it's kind of no other way around it. And we're just using spruce wood. People are like, oh, we gotta add more texture, you know, add more, you know, more colors and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know, I just like the wood look here, just spruce wood, because that's all you're really gonna find up in these, like, these barren, you know, sort of climates, these snow climates up here, so that's what we're gonna be rocking with. If you don't like it, well, this is simple Minecraft that we're playing here, dude. Everything's from my brain. From my big, small brain. Yep, I said it. It's my big, small brain. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we're gonna have a problem with fences here. Okay, that's actually fine. I think we just go like this. So yeah, that was the problem that we're gonna have. We're gonna have it with fences. That's gonna be the problem. Okay. Okay. And at that point, that's like basically a block. Okay. I need these to be here. Actually, they don't necessarily need to be there. They'll need to be there for the support beams and the connection points, right? Because if I delete that little bottom row and then just reattach it like this, we can't attach the stairs to the bottom, but that's okay if we don't do that, because if we're gonna add a support beam in the middle, then that's okay, because yeah, that's fine. That is fine. Okay. Okay, it's a little bit annoying. But I think we have to break all these. We have to break all these. And then we gotta place them one higher up. I also need to find the middle of the bridge, if there is a middle. So we need to go like this. Now, we could also just put stairs here, but... Or, not stairs, you know what I mean, fences here. But I don't think... I mean, are they even necessary? I don't know how much they add to the look of the build. But we're gonna put them here for now. We are gonna do that for now. And we're gonna elevate these just one more. And we need to find the middle of the bridge, because we could just do like really big arches from this point. Let's see how this looks from here. So we do a connection point. So we could just do really big arches. But I was thinking we'd do a center pillar, and then we do a little arch here, a little arch on that corner, and a little arch on that corner, a little arch on that corner. And I think that actually would look just fine. Again, this is like, this world is like me building stuff I've never really built before. So that's the Minecraft. This is from my brain. We are challenging my creativity here. And just my general build skills. Okay. Now, adding support beams on this, I'm probably going to have to do that after this. Okay. So, we need to find the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so that means there should be a middle, actually. The middle should be 8 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this should be the middle. There should be 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this one's actually the middle, my bad. So this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at that. Boom. I'm glad this is actually a 1 in the middle. I didn't want to have to do a double whammy pillar, but okay. If I fall from there, I'm probably gonna die. If I fall from here, I'm probably okay. That's actually perfect that this support beam goes right here. It's actually kind of perfect. I mean, maybe we don't die from here. I don't think we die. Feather falling, baby. Boom, 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 boom. Perfect. And then now we basically just build some arches, basically, from here. And I actually want to make this, I think connecting this like this is actually going to look a lot better. I actually think this is going to look a lot better. Like that, you know, like you're passing by one of the support beams of the bridge. I think that's really cool. Man, why do I keep making all this oak wood, man? I'm so stupid. Okay. Let's get some stairs going. Just a little bit, because I'm going to have to figure out the design here. We still got to place some ornaments, too, and this episode's like an hour long. Okay. Interesting. So I may have to do the support beams of this a little later. Probably we'll do that off camera, honestly. Maybe we'll do it on camera. I don't know. Okay, I gotta think about these real quick. Hold up. I've never done something like this. Let me think. Alright, so I actually think something like that looks pretty good. We could go down one more on the support beam, and then they would actually connect to each other, making kind of a full arch. Yeah, actually that's gonna be better, so we gotta go down one. Okay. I actually think that looks a lot better. I think it makes it look more of an actual arch, if you get what I'm saying. Now, the only problem with this, and it's something we're going to have to deal with, is a little bit of a depth issue. Once we do this to the other side, right, this side of the bridge is going to look, it's going to look a little flat. Like it looks a little 2D, if you get what I'm saying. A little too 2D. So that's, I'm going to get all the other sort of pillars or arches on, and then we'll sort of try and figure out how exactly to make this not ultra 2D looking. This is basically what we have so far, and clearly with these extra arches here, this looks a little too flat. So I'm trying to think right now how exactly we are going to add some depth to it. And I was thinking maybe some trapdoors along the edges here. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to break the 2D character of this. I'm not too sure. I may actually use oak trapdoors for this, just because they'll actually stand out. But I don't even know if I have enough oak wood to do this. I think spruce trapdoors are going to be, they're going to blend in a little too much here. I think they're going to blend in a little too much. So I think we use oak trapdoors. I'm going to make a little bit of them, just to see how this looks. And I'm thinking we put him here. And if this sort of breaks, you know, the 2D character of it, then I actually think it's worth it. But it may not be enough, right? We're really just trying to add depth here, and seeing if it changes the overall sort of composition of the bridge. And I actually think this might work. Although I don't actually know how much I like those trapdoors, actually. They look a little bit out of place. We could try spruce trapdoors. I don't know how those are gonna look. I think they're just gonna blend in a little too much. I'm definitely not gonna be able to accomplish everything I wanted to accomplish this episode. We're definitely gonna add the ornaments and the last thing this episode, but in terms of finishing the pathway and adding lights and support beams, we're probably gonna have to dedicate an episode to pathway upgrades, to be honest with you, so... do I even put that here, or do I just do it here? Maybe I just leave the support beams alone? So what if we just go like this? This may actually look quite decent. Now I think of it, because it's like bolts. It's like bolts. Yeah, I actually think spruce trapdoors are the way to go here. Because those lines in those spruce trapdoors almost act like, you know, you would see like bolts and screws in a bridge. So I actually think that looks okay. Yeah, this bridge is kind of my last thing, and then we're going to add our little colorful ornaments up there. So that means we got to break these. Kind of annoying. Try not to break the wood. Well, shoot. There we go. And I actually want to collect all these. There we go. Now, I don't necessarily know if putting trapdoors there is going to be enough. That's kind of my issue. I don't know if it's enough. Enough to sort of offset the sort of 2D odd look that's kind of plaguing this right now. This is part of building, right? It's about problem solving, right? And that's the thing about, you know, people compare their builds to, you know, to YouTubers way too much and all that stuff. But really, to become a better builder, it's kind of like what I'm doing right now. It's basically you build your build, you're like, it looks kind of off. And it's really determining exactly what is off about it. Like, what exactly is off about the build? And that's where you're really going to improve as a builder. And to me, it's like, okay, this looks a little too flat. It looks a little too 2D-ish. You know, it needs a little more depth to the build. And I don't even necessarily know if these trapdoors are actually enough. Oh my gosh. Because I still think it looks a bit weird, sort of on the lower side. This definitely covers the 2D look on the top, but kind of doesn't when you follow the pillars down. So we're going to have to figure that out. But I definitely think this solves a lot of this, the top side 2D look problem that this build has. So now that all those are up like that, if we go down here, and we look, yeah, that definitely solved that top look. Definitely solved that. Now my only last issue is with these bottom pillars here. Still looks a bit weird, right? So I'm going to have to basically kind of just look at it and you're like, okay, what can I add to this? What exactly can I add to this that is going to improve it? What exactly is that going to be? And I don't know yet. I'm going to have to look at this real quick and I'm going to have to think. Alright, I think I've decided that just some buttons actually fix it. I was experimenting with adding more stuff like on the underneath side, and it kind of just ended up looking weird. But I actually think the buttons kind of fix it a little bit. I still don't necessarily like this pillar like this. I don't know if we continue the trapdoors down, maybe. At this point, the last thing that's tripping me up is this pillar. That's kind of the last thing tripping me up at this point. And I don't know if we just go like this. Like that. And that kind of quells it a little bit. I think it does a little bit. Yeah, I think we'll rock with that. I kind of wish they were vertical, but I don't think there's any way to get these vertical. I think they're always going to be horizontal. Yeah, I think that's how they always are. Okay. That's fine. That's okay. But my problem is that it makes it look a little weird since they're not vertical. But I kind of don't really know a way to fix it. To be honest with you. I mean, maybe we just make it go across the top. Maybe. Maybe. Because what if we just... like that, maybe? How does that look? I think that looks kind of weird. Shoot, bro. I think I need to... I've been staring at this for like 10 minutes. 10 minutes, man. Ugh. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to do a episode to pathway upgrades anyways, because I want to add lights to all the pathways, even by the base. I need to think about this more, dude. I placed all the buttons and stuff. I just gotta place the other sort of trapdoors sort of in the middle at the ends. And I think we're gonna leave it there for now. I'm kind of been sitting here thinking about it, and kind of nothing's coming to my brain. So we're kind of just gonna leave it at that, so we can actually get to the ornaments on the tree and get this episode wrapped up. So that next episode, I was thinking to do like a New Year's episode. My girlfriend was like, "You gotta do a New Year's episode." I don't really a New Year's episode, and I don't really know what to do for a New Year's episode. Not gonna lie, I don't really have any ideas for that. So I kind of only had Christmas stuff. I mean, I don't know if I make like a monument or something. I don't know, but yeah, I genuinely don't really have any ideas for that. So probably not going to do a New Year's thing. I mean, maybe next year if I actually plan it out more and have like a monument. But I think this is like New Year's enough, I think. I think this tree is New Year's enough. Okay, let's go like there. Just going around placing lanterns where I feel like lanterns should be. I guess you can get placing some ornaments here. And I'm going to go on top of them and place some, whatchamacallit, some levers. And that's basically it. That is basically it. I thought red and lime would work really good because, you know, that's sort of Christmassy colors. Little Christmassy colors. Hey, this one should go actually right here. Like that. It's a little too close for my liking. Kind of eliminates some of the depth that we got going on. Some of the depth. Okay. Alright. Definitely actually gonna need more levers than that. We're gonna at least need like 40 levers. Let's grab some more cobblestone. Okay. So we kind of need some at the next layer here. So we'll do some lights here. Break that one, place something there. Red light here. Should we alternate actually? Hold up. I think we should alternate. This one kind of alternated. So yeah, we kind of just went off the beat here. Because there needs to be something here. Then we can put one there. Break that down, place one there. One there. Here. And we kind of just go around the tree. Placing some lights. Some lights on the tree. Whoa. Parkour. Like this. There we go. And then we kind of move on to the next layer here. And get some lights up here. Alright. Let's get some lights up here. Hoping we have enough wool. If we don't, well, then SOL. I don't really have any more, so may have to finish placing these next episode, but I think we'll have enough. I think we'll have enough. Have enough lights. Let's continue placing these. So we want like a red one, probably like right here. That's the exit, okay. Get some lights going here. Get a light like up here. Get a lime one here. Get a red one here. And we need like another lime one somewhere. Place it here. And then now, basically you gotta get a lever on all of these. We need to face the lever towards the tree, because that's what actually makes it look natural. Like it's actually a part of the tree. I'm actually going to place a sea lantern right there. Kind of missing one. Same with right there. We'll do one right there. And we'll do one right here. This one needs to be moved to right here. There we go. Okay. This lever is a bad lever. Okay, I suck. Okay. It's kind of hard to parkour this tree with all these lights on this now. It's actually kind of challenging. It is actually a little bit challenging. Gosh, dang it. Just trying to place these levers, man. Okay. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my promise. You know, we're not delaying it again, guys. Okay, I promise. Alright. It's not getting delayed again. We are going to build the mushroom farm next episode. I was like, we're gonna delay it again if we're gonna do pathway upgrades next episode. No. We are doing the mushroom farm because at this point it is way overdue, just insanely overdue, and it needs to get done. We just need to commit to it, bro. At this point, it just needs to be committed to. Okay, tired of delaying it. It just needs to get built, and that's that. And then after that, you know, I wanted to do some mining work on the mine, but we'll definitely delay that, and we'll get the pathway to up here done, and sort of general pathway upgrades. We'll probably have to get some more glowstone. I do want to build a fish farm because we actually do need to get mending on this armor. I am wearing my best gear right now, but you know, that's gonna have to change, or I can't just wear it forever, I should say. Okay. I can't just wear it forever. It's gonna break. And I'm not too much in the mood to actually repair it every time. So definitely getting mending is something. I'm actually curious what you guys think of mending as an enchantment. Because mending is a fairly controversial you know, enchantment. Mainly because, you know, old Minecraft, enchanted gear was something that was, you know, relatively rare and scarce. And you know, if you had enchanted gear, I mean, you were absolutely decked, like just decked out. And you know, I think with the addition of mending, it made the grind for gear sort of, I mean, a little less meaningful. I would say that grinding for your gear kind of just wasn't this sort of rewarding process necessarily anymore. That it really got transformed into, you kind of grind your gear once, you kind of just, everyone, you know, does their AFK fishing, and then that's really about it. Then you don't really need to get new gear at all. So I definitely think it's a interesting enchantment. Definitely very, very controversial, as I get absolutely mauled. Definitely very, very controversial enchantment. And I definitely see both sides of it. I kind of, you know, something about your gear breaking, and, you know, then you gotta grind and get some more gear. There's a little something about that, you know. There's something about that, there's actually just something about that process. That sort of, you know, the modern Minecraft can't really replicate too well. And gear, like, isn't, you know, something it's like, you get, and your gear back then, I think, the big thing about it is something your gear, you always had to renew your gear. You always had to grind and get new gear, versus now you kind of get mending, and then it's kind of like, okay, you know, then it's kind of over. Oh yeah, bro. Look at this tree. Wow, we just left the dirt piles up there. Oh man, bro. So you had to keep getting new gear, versus now it's kind of, you get your ultimate gear, and then at that point it's kind of just like, you know, and then it's kind of just over, right? Dang it, dude, I was trying to do something cool. So yeah, I am torn on mending. That's also why I really haven't gotten mending yet. But I do think mending allows you, it's basically almost like a creative mode mod at that point, because like your gear is basically invincible unless you if you don't have an XP farm, and even just AFK fishing itself. If you have mending on your armor, you're gonna repair your gear simply by AFK fishing, in of itself. Gosh, dude, I suck at this. So it's definitely an interesting attachment that, in some ways, definitely ruins the core gameplay in survival, but also definitely, I would say, enhances the core gameplay of survival as well. So I definitely think it's an interesting double-edged sword. But nonetheless, I think mending is cool. I'm on the pro mending side. I definitely lean towards the pro mending side. Anyways, with that being said, that is pretty much the episode. Definitely gonna have to halt on the pathway upgrades for now. But we will get to the pathway upgrades in a later episode, more like the episode after next episode, so we can actually build this mushroom farm. I'm actually going to have to go back to my creative one and sort of write down the dimensions of it, because it was kind of fresh in my brain until it wasn't, until we kind of delayed it. But yeah, this episode, the next episode probably won't be up for New Year, so Happy New Year. Hope you guys do something fun for New Year, and Happy Holidays. Hope you guys had a good Christmas, or have whatever holidays you celebrate. And salute to all the people who had to work on Christmas and stuff like that. You guys make the world go round. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next episode.